You may well, if Paolo can share the presentation.
Yes, please.
Just to understand, Florentina, here in this meeting from Spain, we have also both people from Jerez and Olerdola concerning the topic of the language or...
I am here from Olerdola. I don't see anybody from Jerez.
Only, okay. Okay, Paolo, are you ready with the presentation so we can start the meeting?
Okay. Yes, it is open. I'm opening the file. Okay.
Okay, I think we're ready.
Okay. So thank you everyone for your presence here in the meeting. As you know, this is the first deep dive for the maintenance management model. So this is the first meeting of the phase of the project called Group Operation Model, where we are going to detail the process, the model for the maintenance management. And we can go on the next slide, Paolo, where we have the topics of this working group of the maintenance. And today we are going to focus on the first two topics. We will try to cover the maintenance request topic. For maintenance request, we are talking about the modality that has to be used to formally request a maintenance intervention. We'll show you the way it is done in Italy. We would like to hear from you the way you are managing it today in order to define the best. I mean, we have a proposal of the way that should be done, considering what is done today in Italy, with the use of the tool it's used in Italy. And we'll discuss about the corrective maintenance management. So this is the maintenance that is carried out in case of failures, the one that occurred with a maintenance request, and this will be the first topic that we will discuss today. Moving on, in the next meeting, we will have the other topics, so the planned maintenance, and talking about the maintenance that is scheduled into the calendars in order to prevent future failures. The activities of costing and accounting. So for each intervention of maintenance, we will have a way to perform the costing and accounting of this intervention, and then the KPIs and the master data management on the inventory and spare parts. So these are the topics. Concerning the agenda of this meeting, focusing on the first two topics concerning the agenda, we will discuss which are the ones that we identify as the pillars of the corrective maintenance model, which is the application landscape. So we'll show you how the systems will support the process for the corrective maintenance, which is the process that is envisioned, and a focus on the maintenance request form. So we prepared these slides, which represent, we believe, a solid model that has been pre-discussed with Italian people, considering what is done in Italy. For sure, now we are here today to understand what you do today, if this model is applicable. So it's an open discussion where we will discuss about how much this can be applicable to your facilities. If everything is clear, I don't know, Florentina, if we need to translate in Spanish or if I ask to Spanish people as well.
Sí,
you go ahead. You go ahead, and maybe we can explain later in Spanish more details. but I think that what you have already explained is pretty clear.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Francisco. So we have here the model, the pillars of the model for corrective maintenance. So here we're discussing about corrective maintenance, the maintenance which is done in case of failures of the machine, in case of failures of the molds and other parts which are under maintenance. So the first pillar is the creation of the maintenance request. The maintenance request, as I say, is a form which is used in the system. We will see. I'm talking about Iris in this case, a system that we have a dedicated slide later. Is a form that has to be filled out by mainly the production people which are on the production line. When in this case we are talking about corrective maintenance, so in case of failure, a request to perform an intervention for maintenance has to be carried out by the production people in this case. Another pillar is the maintenance, the management, the creation and the management of the maintenance order in the system. So the maintenance order is an object, as you can imagine, like a production order, but is referred to an intervention of maintenance, an object that we envision to manage it in SAP, and is created when the maintenance request is generated. And this maintenance order, with this maintenance order, we can keep track on SAP of the intervention, on the costing, on the people who work the intervention, and so on. And this explains the need of the third point, which is the third pillar, the costing and accounting of the maintenance intervention. This is a way to keep track of, under an economical point of view, the activities carried out. I'm talking about the cost of the hours of the people who work on the intervention. I'm talking about the value of the spare parts that have been used, and this can increase the value of the asset, because if we use a new spare parts, it increases the value of the asset. But we can also take into consideration the amount of money spent for external interventions on the asset. And finally, the fourth pillar of the model is the management of the spare parts master data and also the inventory stock level of the spare parts. Here we envision to have master data and inventory level of the spare parts on SAP in order the maintenance team or the production team can monitor the level of the inventory, can have a reliable situation into the system in order to perform logic of definition of stock level and also purchasing of spare parts. So nowadays, probably now we hear it from you, but at least in Italy, we don't have this management of the master data and inventory for spare parts. Is something that is foreseen in the future model. So these are the main pillars of the corrective maintenance model. And as we spoke with Italy, this model can be applicable for the four typologies of assets that are under maintenance in Italy, are the one listed in the gray bar at the bottom of the slide. So I'm talking about the production machines, activities of assembly of the production machines, the molds, the press machines, and the general facilities such as electricity facilities or air conditioning and so on. So these are the four assets on which the corrective maintenance with the pillar that explained here is applicable. And now I would like to hear from you, from the different countries, whether you have you divide the maintenance into more or less this kind of assets here, production machine, molds, general facilities, or if you have additional case than Italy, because maybe your department, maintenance department, is structured in a different way.
Well, I think for the UK, I mean, I've got Adrian and Grant on the meeting today. We have a maintenance management system of sorts, which is a relatively new addition, probably been in use about a year and a half. And we are growing that system. At the moment, we're using it for planning and scheduling maintenance, but we've also started using it for some maintenance requests.
Okay.
But we certainly don't have it linked to any maintenance costings at the moment or management of spare parts. They're managed separately to the system, so they're another part of the business, if you know. I know, Grant, Adrian, if you want to add to that, what we currently do.
Yeah, I think you've pretty much, described what we're using it for just now, Stuart. So what we use it for is obviously to schedule the maintenance just now, and then we have the traceability if we have audits, so that we can provide the evidence.
We're using our kind of maintenance requests for breakdowns and other requested work as well, but we've just started using that at Kirkinpillar. But we've not took it as far as costing and spare parts inventory. As Stuart said, that's a separate system that we would need to kind of add to.
Sorry, didn't catch the name of the system you're using?
It's called WorkMate.
Sorry, what mate?
WorkMate.
Okay.
I think it's like it's a web client type based system. I can't remember. We certainly bought the licenses for, I think, unlimited licenses, was it, for various laptops, tablets, etc., for the engineers to use.
Okay. Which I guess is not integrated with the ERP.
No.
Okay.
No. So it's just a standalone, yeah.
So with this one, you perform planning of maintenance activity. You can schedule it. You have something like a maintenance request. I mean, most of the features of the functionality that are listed here is something that you already started with this tool to have them in your facilities.
Yeah. We have at UCP, we have one department which use it a lot. But any significant breakdowns, then they will make a request. But the production people do not put the request in. It's the engineers. When they carry out any work, they will put it in.
Okay, thank you.
So
And, yeah, please.
in Germany, we use a maintenance planner too, not for the maintenance request from the production, but for the complete planning of the maintenance work we do in yearly or half-yearly parts. For this software type, it's called Wardman.
Mm-hmm.
We have a completely plant design with all our production lines and machines, and we are able to have the whole information for spare parts we need for the maintenance work, and also after a maintenance of a machine we can do a costing for personal operator costs, for maintenance costs, and for the downtime for the machine.
Okay. So you register there all the information concerning the downtime, I guess the starting of the intervention when the machine is back to productivity in order to monitor this timing and have all of it on the system.
Yes.
The name is Whatman?
Yes.
Whatman. Okay.
And our spare parts are organized in our ERP system.
Okay. But do you manage the inventory level of the spare parts in the ERP?
Yes.
Okay.
But
so
we don't have a link between the maintenance software and our ERP system.
Okay. not integrated. Okay, sorry, Paul, if I understood well, you don't have the maintenance request, but correct, just the planning, but not a maintenance request form.
Yes,
Okay.
we do our maintenance request on fleet.
Okay. Thank you. Next one from Spain or Mexico, which is the situation concerning the tool, the performing of these activities in your facilities.
We start from Spain, maybe Mexico. I don't know if it is there. I'm explaining everything in Spanish to Head, if you don't mind, in 30 seconds, and they will answer. Okay, Gonzalo, ¿me escuchas?
Sí, sí.
Bien, entonces lo que nos estaban preguntando básicamente es, el sistema tiene 4 pilares, que el primero es la gestión o la creación de una solicitud de mantenimiento. El siguiente sería ya lo que es la propia gestión de la orden de mantenimiento. Luego sería pues, la contabilidad de esa orden de mantenimiento, básicamente cuáles son los costes. Y finalmente, si estamos gestionando pues, el stock de productos intermedios. Y si tenemos alguna aplicación en donde estemos gestionando esto, y luego también si estamos diferenciando el mantenimiento por los 4 tipos de máquinas que tienen abajo, que son máquinas de producción, moldes, aquí están diferenciando máquinas de embutición y luego General Facilities, que son básicamente las utilities, aire acondicionado, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, ¿lo explicas, por favor? Yo ya traduciré lo que hiciese falta. Despacito, habla despacito, por favor. Y ya.
Nosotros lo que es un sistema, un programa que lleve todo esto, no existe. Lo hacemos todo, o sea, una gran parte de lo que pide por Excel y hay montada una operativa para gestionar lo que es el mantenimiento solamente a nivel preventivo y a nivel legal. La parte de sí, en la operativa vamos registrando todos los partes de cada o sea, cada máquina de fabricación o cada molde o cada parte de las instalaciones, y eso se lleva un registro de todas las actividades y todo lo que se haya gestionado sobre cada una de esas partes. Luego existe un fichero de todo el control de los costes que requiere el mantenimiento, es decir, tanto costes de mantenimiento directo de utillaje o útiles, material, y luego toda la parte de lo que son servicios o mantenimiento por terceros. Todo eso queda registrado y controlado.
Okay, probably you have understood because this is Italian and Spanish are very similar. Okay, but basically what he's saying is that we don't have any ERP for the maintenance, everything is in Excel. Mainly what we are doing is the preventive maintenance, not the corrective maintenance. And basically we are creating all the orders manually. And we later, once that we have done the activity, we control the accounting, the costing, and everything. We have a file, Excel file, again, external Excel file in which we have all the costing and also all the intervention, all the external interventions by third parties.
Okay. And tenéis la gestión de la pieza de repuesto en el ERP.
No.
Per part, ¿no?
Okay. Es decir, no hay una gestión de inventario del repuesto. Sí, lo que es el responsable de mantenimiento y los mecánicos gestionan por experiencia una serie de repuestos mínimos que deben existir. Pero no existe un programa entrada-salida de todo lo que es el inventario de repuestos.
Vale, gracias.
Tenemos algo más mejor hecho que se ven las piezas.
Okay. It's pretty clear they don't have the management of the spare parts, master data and inventory in the system. Okay, I don't know if there's something else to say from Spain. ¿Tenéis algo más para decir por esta parte o podemos mover to México?
For Mexico, it's similar to Spain. We have a maintenance plan in Excel. We don't have any program or any software for do that, and we make the orders manually. And we have a plan with all the works or activities that we have for each machine. And we control all the spare parts for model of machine or area. We have punching, we have decoration and assembly machine. And we have an inventory, but it's very difficult for us to have a control for the first entries and take out all the parts for the workers.
Okay, Roberto, sorry, the inventory management is done in ERP or is something that you do on Excel?
Oh, yes, only in Excel.
Okay. Okay, so basically the situation is that, out of 4 countries, only UK and Germany has a system for managing the maintenance processes. We're talking about systems which are not currently integrated with ERP and which maybe some difference in the creation of the maintenance request or in the planning of the intervention for the planned maintenance. While for Spain and Mexico, everything is done on Excel. We don't have a supporting system for this kind of processes. To me, the situation is pretty clear. Okay, thank you for this introduction. So we have better understood which is the processes in your country, even if briefly, but we can come back on them to specify peculiarities from your country. Now I would move to the envision scenario that we discussed, taking in consideration the model that is present in Italy and considering also the development of the system that have been done in Italy. So here, this is the corrective maintenance, but in the next meeting, you will see also that for the planned maintenance, the scenario is similar to this one. We are talking about to have 2 systems supporting the process. The input, the beginning of the process start from Iris. So maybe I will spend a couple of words on Iris. I don't know if everyone is aligned. The Iris is the current we call field tool here, but it's a tool that is used in Italy for 3 main processes. The most important one for the reason which is being created, the Iris, is the manufacturing execution processes. So it's a MES. It's a manufacturing execution system, Iris, that supports the production execution, but has also functionalities on the quality management and on the maintenance management. So the current situation of Iris is that it's currently implemented only in Italy. It's, I would say, continuously updated with new version. The Italian corporate team, which has developed Iris, is now working on Iris 4 version. And this is the what will be used as first. We envision to use it as a first system for the management of the corrective maintenance, and talking about the fact that the creation of the maintenance request is supported by IRIS. So when a request of intervention has to be done, IRIS support this maintenance request, which is called the maintenance sheet. We'll see an example in the next slide, but this is the input of the process. Everything then is moved to SAP S/4HANA, in particular on the plant maintenance module, and the ERP SAP S/4HANA will manage the maintenance order, the costing and accounting of the maintenance intervention, and will manage also the master data and inventory of the spare parts. So now we will see a slide which is going to be more detailed, but please remember this, which is pretty simple as application landscape. Everything starts from IRIS. The operators are supposed to work on IRIS. So this will be, I would say, stay on the previous slide, please, Paolo, just a second more. We will have the operator that work on IRIS, because on IRIS there is the input for the production people that request the intervention, and also will fill out and complete the maintenance sheet, the maintenance request. SAP is for the costing and accounting part, but we will try to have as much as automatized as possible in order that operator can work only on IRIS. Just a brief comment about IRIS. As I said, IRIS is not only for maintenance, is also a MES, a manufacturing execution system that has to be integrated with the machines. So I would say that the long part of the implementation is the connection with the machines. Now, while a corporate is evaluating the possibility to have IRIS live along with SAP in the moment of the go live of SAP, with the integration working between IRIS and SAP, but IRIS not integrated with the machines. This means that now we're talking about maintenance. The information has to be written into IRIS, which is something which is pretty doable. For the production, it will be, I would say, another process which we are not going to discuss in this meeting, but the idea is to have IRIS integrated with SAP in order that the communication between these two systems will be automatic, but IRIS at the moment of the go live, I would say it will be not integrated with the machine, something that we will be done after the SAP S/4HANA go live. So this is the overall idea about this model. I'm asking you if you have question about that, otherwise we can move to the detailed slide of the process. Also, let me know if from Spain we need to translate briefly. Si queréis la traducción de lo que he dicho sobre la application landscape.
Gonzalo.
Si quieres que te lo traduzcan un poco.
No es necesario.
Claro,
Avanti.
ok. Avanti. Perfetto. Okay, so I would move to the next slide. Okay. So we represented here step by step what you saw in the previous slide, but it's more detailed now. We will see. So in the first stream on the top of the slide, there are the activities done on IRIS. In the middle, SAP S/4HANA, and at the bottom, SEDAPTA. That SEDAPTA, just for your information, is a tool for scheduling the production. So it's going to manage the production order is not important for the maintenance activities, but it's important that, especially for the planned maintenance, this tool is aligned about the downtimes moment of the machines, in order that if we are going to plan a downtime next week, SAP tool can have this information in order to perform all the different evaluation in scheduling the production. So this is just for alignment for the planning and the scheduling processes of production orders. So I would start from the top of the slide, from Iris. We say that from Iris, the production staff have the possibility to create a maintenance request. Maintenance request is a form which is called maintenance sheet because it's scheda di manutenzione in Italian, so maintenance sheet, yes. And maybe, Paolo, we can go directly into the next slide so we can have an example of what we are talking about. I think it's better to have, it's just a screenshot, but okay, this is the maintenance sheet from the Italian version of Iris. So in this case, the production staff, when a failure occurs, have this possibility on Iris to open this maintenance sheet and detail this list of information here. So there is the department, which is opening the maintenance sheet. There is the level of priority, which is defined by the people who is opening the sheet. The maintenance typology, the working center, which is basically the number of the machine according to the master data, the mold in case it's a request to have an intervention on a mold. The maintenance status can be detailed and updated, so whether it's a new intervention, it's a work in progress, or whether it's closed. The reason for the stop of the machine, a planned intervention, an extraordinary one, and so on. So this is just an example, but when we will go in detail with Iris, we can have a full, let me say, the full list of this kind of fields. The name of the requester, the possibility to write the problem description in open text, in free text, the possibility to attach documents, they need to, specify whether it will be solved with an internal activities or whether an external provider intervention is needed, the date and time of the machine stop, and the date and time of maintenance request. Now, are just the information that are needed to open the maintenance sheet, and as is explained in the yellow note here on the left, maintenance sheet should be opened also for intervention of external suppliers. This is something which is not currently done in Italy today, but if we want to track the maintenance order on the system, if you want to have a good costing and accounting of this intervention, it has to be done also in case of external provider activity. And so this is the set of information which is needed to open the maintenance request. If everything is clear, I would move on with the process. Otherwise, please interrupt me for a question of any kind of intervention, okay? So after having created this maintenance request on Iris...
I have one question, Francisco from Spain. What's the level of implementation of the Iris in Italy? Is fully operational? What's the situation?
The situation is that now they have a version which I think is the 2 or the, I don't know honestly the number, but it's not the 4. They are using the 2, let's say, which is fully operational for maintenance. I mean, they created the maintenance sheet. It is received by the maintenance staff. They perform the intervention. They complete the maintenance intervention and complete the maintenance request. So everything is working on Iris. It is not integrated with the current ERP. They are performing updates on Iris, which is the Iris 4, and at the moment, yes, they are working on continuously to have this update on Iris. But for the top stream, is fully operational, not integrated with the ERP.
And for the manufacturing execution, also they are using what I mean is the Iris is already connected to the machines and reporting the orders, etc.
I would think so. Maybe here I ask the help of Martino, or we don't have Chiara.
No, because basically what I mean is that in Jerez we don't have any system like this, but for example in Olerola we have our current system which is doing something similar, so we have to understand if in the future we are going to move to Iris or what to do. Okay.
No, but Francisco, basically, it's a topic that we discussed with the corporate team. So Iris is something that is foreseen for the whole group to have it operational both for the production and also for the maintenance. But now, if we have to see the timeline of adoption of SAP, it's not possible to connect Iris with all the machine at the moment of the live. But it can be implementable and integratable with SAP, but without having it connected with the machines.
Okay.
So this is the yep.
Yeah, just from a practical point of view. So obviously the machine operation team, they will be filling in the maintenance request sheet, requesting for a maintenance intervention. Yeah. And if we're not going through an automatic system and we require the people to fill in the form, I take it will be on a PC or some device enabling them to book an order on the system. Yeah. How do we see that implemented in practice? Or we were thinking about having machines on the shop floor around about the production equipment to enable people to go and log a request. I only ask because in some cases, one operator may be running 6 or 7 machines. So to be moving away from the machines that they're looking after to go and then book a request, they would have to be away from their job. So I'm just interested to understand how that would work in practice.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Stuart. I think this is a question that we have to ask to the Italian team. Basically, honestly, I don't know how they operate. We have talked with Shonti about that. So at the moment, I don't see him in the meeting, but we can ask him in order to explain which is the operational way to have it. I mean, as far as I know, is the production stuff, the open it, but honestly, yeah, you're right that we have to understand whether it's something that can be done on the line or otherwise something that can be done in the maintenance office and don't have the system on the line. But
I think it's also important to decide who determines a prioritization, because if I am operating a machine, for sure my machine is a priority, but it might not necessarily be the priority for the business.
Yeah, the logic and the ownership of defining the priority. Yeah. Okay, I take these 2 questions and we can understand with the Italian team.
One question, Paolo. This is from Mexico, Jose Luis. If all the facilities that doesn't have Iris, we will be implemented with this process with SAP HANA, or just we are going to work with HANA?
No, I would say that the global model is to have Iris and HANA operational on all the facilities.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Okay. So coming back to the process, after having created the maintenance request, we envision the maintenance order. I move to the SAP S4 stream here in the middle. We expect the order to be automatically created in SAP S4HANA. This is what I said before, that the staff create the maintenance request, the order only in Iris, and it is automatically transmitted the information in order it can be opened, the maintenance order in SAP S4HANA automatically. Once the maintenance sheet is completed, we will see briefly what kind of information are needed to complete the maintenance sheet, which is something that has to be done after the completion of the intervention. The order, this information will move to SAP S4, and we will have the technical closing of the maintenance order. So the order has been opened in SAP, it is also automatically closed in SAP, both under a technical point of view, but also under an accounting point of view. And finally, the last, let me say, activity that is automatically done in SAP is the automatic stock decrease of the spare parts which has been used for the intervention, which is something that the maintenance staff or the production staff that execute the intervention has inserted in Iris as spare parts used. So everything is complete in Iris, and after having closed the maintenance sheet, this automatically close the maintenance order, both under a technical point of view and also under an accounting point of view. And finally, it will be automatically decrease the stock of the spare parts in SAP. Paolo, we can go on the slide of the focus on the maintenance sheet completion, so we can see what is the content of the maintenance sheet, the missing information that are needed to close the maintenance sheet. Did you move the slide? I don't see them updating. Paolo?
The previous, yes. Did you mean the previous one or this
No,
one?
let's
or
go.
The next one?
Go please on the one of the focus on the maintenance sheet completion. I don't see the number, so go on the 43.
43.
I still see the process.
Okay. No,
So otherwise, I'm going to share the screen if you have maybe connection problem. I don't know, maybe you updated, but.
Okay, okay, it's better that you share the screen because I.
Okay, let me take control.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. I think you can see my screen now. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
So we have
Yes.
here the slide that explains what does maintenance sheet completion means. So basically, the operator, the maintenance of the production staff can detail with the description of the activities, can update the status of the intervention. It would move to closed. It would include the date and the time of the intervention and the time. It's possible also to put the time of the machine restarting. So you see in the previous slide we had the date and time of the machine stop. We can have here the time of the intervention start and the time of the machine restarting. All these information of the time can help to define and calculate the KPI, the typical maintenance KPI, such as mean time to repair, mean time to failure, and so on. And then we have also the possibility here to select the material used for the intervention. We are talking about a list that takes information from the master data of SAP, and the operator can select the code from a list directly in Iris, because all the information automatically mirrored to Iris. And this will also be used then from SAP to remove them from the inventory level on SAP. Finally, the worker can put also the number of the people who work on the intervention and the working hours that have been spent on the maintenance intervention. So these are the needed information then to perform the costing of the activities. What is written in the yellow note I already said. So here we're talking about the master data and inventory level of the spare parts and the integration needed between Iris and SAP to allow the correct communication of this kind of information between the two systems. And yes, this is basically, I think I've said everything on this process. So I would ask you if you have doubts, if you see it doable for your plant, considering what is done today, the two systems that you introduced before, and also considering the activity that are performed in the Excel for Spain and Mexico.
So Matthias from Germany. So one more question from my side. When I'm right, so we have in future two systems. So we have Iris for maintenance, and we have from the SAP subsystem MES for reporting all the production data. Is it correct? Or is it connected? So when so I have a view from operator. I'm operator working on several machines. So I have on one side Iris. So Iris, I understand maybe correctly, it's for maintenance.
Yeah.
So then I have a production order. So I have to produce 1 million closures, for example, and I have to put some data inside for maybe quality, consumption, quantity, etc. So that means at the end of the day, the operator have to put informations into two different systems.
For the maintenance, only on Iris, because everything is inputted on Iris, and SAP is automatically updated for the information received from Iris. So in the maintenance request is done on Iris. The selection of the spare parts used for the intervention is done in Iris, in the maintenance sheet. When this is sent, when this is closed, it automatically decreases the stock of the spare parts in SAP, and the costing is automatically done in SAP. So I would say that SAP is an ERP, which is, we are going to use it for this kind of process, mostly for accounting and inventory purposes, but everything is controlled by Iris. So the interface that the user will use is directly on Iris. This is a request that we received also from Italy, that to have the possibility to stay for the operators only on Iris and not working on SAP.
Okay, so the operators will only work on Iris.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about maintenance, yes.
Yeah, but just to probably add to Matthias's point, so if I'm an operator...
Right, sorry, interruption here from Sergey. I'm from the SAP governance team. So basically, the point is Iris is a manufacturing system. So its goal is also to track the parts produced. So ideally, the operator should not go into SAP. SAP is reserved for higher level access Basically, currently in Italy, Iris is installed on the various machines. So Iris is used by the operators, plus Iris has its internal counters to know what is being produced, etc. There is an ongoing project to interface Iris with SAP, and this probably was not explained to you by the Deloitte consultants. Probably, I don't. They told you, probably you did not, it was not completely clear. Basically, the data from Iris will be put into SAP, and SAP will then make the consumption backflash for the consumption and advance of the production. It's still not live as a project, but in the to-be image, basically the operator will only work on Iris, which is the manufacturing system. SAP access is going to be reserved at a higher level in case some supervisor has to intervene. I'm sorry for an interruption, but I hope this clarified some doubts.
Thanks for that, Sergey.
Thanks. This was the question.
That does help. I think the other thing I should probably mention about the UK is obviously you've mentioned there that the Iris system would be automatic, would be connected to the machines in Italy, but that's not something that you're looking to do in the first instance when you roll this out to other plants within the group. In the UK, we have something called Barco. The Barco system is connected to the machines. It's very simple. It counts product in and counts product out. So it gives us OEE data, it gives us spoilage data, it gives us runtime, it gives us the reason in a visual display that you can connect to of the status of every machine in the factory. So in the future, if we're not looking to connect the Iris system to the machines, then are we expecting our operations staff to manually enter their production data at the end of each day into Iris?
I think
or
no,
use an
because
existing system?
it's basically at Barco. So Iris was developed as basically as your system. So it was developed internally here in Italy. So it does exactly the same thing. So it does the counting, does OEE, it does the traceability of the machine, which is running, which is not, which one has stopped, if one has its fault. So basically it's a traceability system. So it's basically imagine that we came with the same solution in two different realities. So it's Barco and Iris do the same thing. Now, I don't have an actual reply to your question. I don't know. But the point is, no, Iris is as automated as possible because Iris speaks to the PLCs which are in the machines. I'm not part of the Iris team, which is developed by our infrastructure and technological team, which unfortunately no one is here present today. Maybe next time we can add them to the meeting in case there are some more detailed questions. But basically it does the same things as your Barco. I do not know, because I honestly do not know how this transition from legacy to Iris will be managed. I don't have an answer for that.
I think for me, for all of the operations in the UK, we don't want to go backwards a step. So if we're looking to implement Iris, it would certainly make sense to implement it linked to the process, or continue using a legacy system that can feed into SAP. I don't know, but it would seem strange to implement a new system but not have it linked to the machines like we currently have.
Right. But the basic the basic idea of Iris is Iris talks to the machine, it collects all of the data and then puts it to other systems. Right.
I understand. Yeah.
Yes,
I think
Gilles, we're going to discuss more about this topic when we're going to be there in the UK. So we plan to be in the UK and Scotland the first week of October. We're working on the agenda of the meetings, but for sure IRIS is going to be one of the hot topics for that week.
Okay. I think, Florentine, it'd be good to see a demonstration of IRIS,
yes,
maybe during that week, so that the guys can compare it to Barco, and obviously WorkMate as well. So I think if that could be built into the schedule, that would be good.
Yes, indeed, we are organizing it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we take these, yes, important feedbacks that basically are the ones that we expected, honestly, concerning the topics of the activation of the of IRIS. Okay, so
one thing, Fabio, very briefly, I will explain the situation in Spain. In Spain, we have a mixed situation because we already have SAP, and we already have our own IRIS, which is Qplan. The Qplan is already connected to all the machines and also interface with SAP. Okay, so more or less we have the job done. This is only in Olérdola. In Jerez, we don't have this functionality. But in Jerez, as Gonzalo has already explained, we have everything is in Excel. Actually, the functionality in Jerez is totally different because we are talking about mainly the production of plastic closures, so we have injection machines, etc., etc. But in Olérdola, for the production of aluminum closure, we have all the assembly machines, all the punching machines, everything is already connected to Qplan, which is our own IRIS, and the Qplan is already interfaced with SAP. Okay, so in our case, the job theoretically, I will say it is done. We are not presently using the maintenance module, which Qplan has, but in any case, it's available and we could use in the future. So for Olérdola, the discussion in the future is if we are going to maintain Qplan or we are going to move to IRIS, taking into consideration that we already have the SAP implemented.
Okay. Thank you, Francisco. So yes, most of these topics here will be, I would say, moved also to the working group of the production, since here is the same system, IRIS, that does both maintenance and also production. But yes, we will discuss with our production colleagues. So thank you for making it clear, Francisco, for your system. Sorry, can you repeat the name of your Spanish system?
Qplan. Qplan.
Sì, proprio con la Q e poi plant. È interfacciato con SAP. Sorry for the Italian, it's a bit faster. È interfacciato con SAP, però l'interfaccia è perfettibile.
Okay. I would say that we ran out of time, so the next meeting will be on Wednesday. We will start again from this discussion. Maybe if we have new information from Italy, or if you have more consideration, we can restart discussing that. And then the next topic we will discuss is also the planned maintenance. We will complete what we anticipated today on the system that we explained. So next meeting Wednesday, same time. Meanwhile, thank you all for this first one.
Okay.
Have a nice evening.
So last question, Paolo, from Mexico. Do you have a layout that we can follow to fill with for the spare parts management? Or because today we have an Excel sheet, so do you have a layout that we need to follow to fill with?
Well, yes. At the moment defined not, because it's one of the topic of this working group. We'll have the possibility to discuss, which is starting from the SAP standard, which is the layout that can be used for the spare parts. But we will try to rely on the SAP standard, and we'll have in the next meeting this month, we will discuss also about this topic here.
Okay, I see. Got it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.